Today, Rinpoche began the explanation of generosity and the divisions and so forth, and showed how, after one gives all of his or her belongings to sentient beings, he or she can still use those things without stealing. So in the previous class, I'm going to have to just look it up, but in the previous class we went over a section that there were 18 categories of, and we made it to number 16. So we're going to continue along where we left off from last class. Anybody who's new, all of the classes are for free online. You can, look it up there if you want to just get current or just kind of have a frame of reference for where we're at right now. You can just go back to the previous class, and that'll kind of bring you up to date within the section. So just as a note from a translation perspective, and so the Puik Rinpoche, Sumja. Dujure J, 368. At the top. Jiang Toba Shin. Sena June Gangi. Lama Mejate. The Rangu Mejate. 368. 368. 368, right? Sumja Juju Reje. Go. Jean Tonwa. Oh, good. Gongel Mebachik. Okay, Jean Tonwa. The Tok. Okay. So 368. So in the English, we are on page. Okay, so the English will be. I just want to get everybody exactly where we are. We're at the top of page 368 in the Tibetan. So I just want to find where that break point is. 368. Okay, so the precious garland, there's a quote, and it looks like right at the end of that quote, it says, furthermore, do not hold on to companions. 118 is the page. Okay, Digsum Rinpoche. Shiso, okay. Less so.
유지는 하유 무슨신 현지 신앙 랑마자데스 파신듀발레스
Sildu.
신이주는 강기 필요랑 용수 동생뼈와 먼저 용수 동생뼈와 먼저 용수 기술주 로와다 상주선바 말로 용수 봉 강지 동생녀부 줘봤다 동생녀부 줘봤다 양다 상주랑라 디제나 된다이 너랑 진천 제세지 상주 선바 롱 유바인 유바 means what about the law
Sildu. In Jelo?
다 그냥 동생 배워라 봐도 줘봐 당스 동생 배워라 봐도 줘봐 스나 배워 당 동생 맞아봐 당 제바 냐버 시비 코당 다 동생 지바당 된 게시게 코당 유지는 하여바나 다도 종주요 말레스 냐주요 말레스 yenjite treba yinaya lama majad lanjuyo mares te kong kabayor sana pashin dibal zungdos pashin diba seni jene kangi penjorang seni jene kangi penjorang yonsu tongsen bewa manjuyu yonse gesunju lowa da shangshu samba malu yonsu pons shangshu samba zita pong kores kangi tongsen nyebu jobata, tongsengi nyebu jobata, yada shang chu lang la dishe na, tende nuera rinchen jese jang, shang chu senpe lang yoba mens, wataba tu judu de rendwa.
Lessa. Okay, so number 16 begins at the top of page 118, where it says, "Furthermore, do not hold on to companions and belongings that have prevented you from increasing your ability to give things away, that have intensified your stinginess, that have stopped the development of previously absent inclinations to give, or that have weakened your inclinations to give. Do not take on these kinds of companions or accept these kinds of material gifts, even if others offer them." The Compendium of Perfection states, "Bodhisattvas give up all possessions that intensify the fault of stinginess or that do not expand generosity, the deceivers that become an obstacle. The bodhisattvas should not accept jewels, wealth, or even a kingdom if it would harm their generous attitude and obscure the path to perfect enlightenment." The Rinpoche, the Triwa, that's the NGK, the Dunda, that's Selposha, Gangin Sena, the Shanchu Semba, the Mekashe Tsampa, the Lona, Mekashe Tsampa, Shanchu Semba, the Chalakanga Tegu. Then the Sanlo Kechempo, Yene, the Chikshena, the Dunda, that's the Larona, the Gangin Sena, the Shanchu Semba, the Sena, Shambochana,
Sanatan de Shayo Jimbatang to Maruta.
Lessa.
Jinja Ngobel Sanatan de Shayo Bayina, no, the Jimbatang Gishi Waruta.
Lessa.
And Sanapio down, don't say Majiba Majibatan, don't say Majiba Majibatan, Chiba Nyaba Shibi, don't say Majiba Majibatan, Chiba de Manyaba Shibi,
Lessa. Soon.
Korje,
Lessa.
Yujina, Hayaba Kangal Nyaju Mares,
Lessa.
Mazon Shins,
Lessa.
Yeji Shina, Tatabi Ngoba the Yeg Tiba Yina, Lanju Mares, Malante, Susan in the Passion Duba, Mariba Passion Duba, Sumapo Passion Duba, Passion Duba Le, Sini Jun, Kagi Pinjuran, Sini Jun, Kagi Pinjuran, Yonsu Tongsen Pyo Manju Yu, Yonsu Yonzin Gesu Ju Loa Das, Takanse Sana Tega Jima Tongwa Geshi Garo, the Ge, Yonzin Gesu Ju Loa Das, Shanju Senpe Malu Yonsu Pons, Shanju Senpa, Watege Sana Tongwa Pong Gures,
Lessa.
Kanji Tongsen Nyebu Chobata, Tongsen Nyebu, Tongsen Nyebu Chobata, Yangda Shangchu Lang La Dishe Na, Tende Yinue Rang, Rinchen Jese Jang Sa, Kanji Tongsen Nyebu Chobata As, Kanji Tongsen Nyebu Chobata, Yangda Shangchu Lang La Dishe Na, Tende Yinue Rang Rinchen Jese Jang, Shangchu Senpe Lang Yoba Min Sa, Kanji Tongsen Nyebu Choba Das, Tongsen Nyebu Choba Da, Yangda Shangchu Lang La, Tongsen Nyebu Choba Da, Shangchu Tuba La Diba She Na, Tenda Yinue Rang, Rinchen Jese Jang, Jabu Ki Kola Suba Tu Tsu Yina Yang, and Shangchu Senpe Pong Gores, Lang Yoba Mes, Lang Yoba Mares, Lang Yoba Mares, Yoba Me. Lessa. Yine
Shanchu Semba Chalakanga Te Gugumari. Yine Sena Chembochana? Gangisena the Kashe the Samba the Shanchu Semba Chala the
선나유는
Chala Kanga.
지마당 도움에도 다다. 자를 차버도 선나유나 지마당 도움으로 어떻게 그들 말봐.
Yine Shanchu Sembo Shubu Kashe Ire the Duchen Ngapa the Jewangapa Ngo Mambo Ire.
근데 약간 뭐도 그거 잡아야지 말어다.
Then they donda Gangisena indicate this then they okay, what I was just asking Rinpoche, just to clarify, is that I understand that the second sentence does clarify it in the quote from the... I'll read it. Furthermore, do not hold on to companions and belongings that have prevented you from increasing your ability to give things away, that have intensified your stinginess, that have stopped the development of previously absent inclinations to give, or that have weakened your inclinations to give. Do not take on these kinds of companions or accept these kinds of material gifts, even if others offer them. The Compendium of Perfection states, Bodhisattvas give up all possessions that intensify the fault of stinginess, or that do not expand generosity, the deceivers that become an obstacle. Bodhisattvas should not accept jewels, wealth, or even a kingdom if it would harm their generous attitude and obscure the path to perfect enlightenment. Starting to read through it, you find these three possibilities that come about from having negative companions or a negative relationship to certain items that you have, so belongings that you have. It says, prevent you from increasing your ability to give things away, intensify your stinginess, or that have stopped the development of previously absent inclinations to give. So even stopping the motivation to give. So it's not only stopping the giving or decreasing it or intensifying stinginess, it's also stopping you from generating the motivation to give. So these are the three things. It says, do not take on these kinds of companions or accept these kinds of material gifts, even if others offer them. So what I was asking Rinpoche about is, if you misread this, you could think that bodhisattvas have to give everything away in order to practice. Rinpoche is saying, and I gave the example of many bodhisattvas that were very wealthy. So Rinpoche said that the key to that is that intensify the fault of stinginess. If you don't have that incorrect relationship with your things, with your items, then they don't increase your stinginess. They don't decrease your ability to give. So here it has to do not only with the possessions, but the underlying point is the motivation and what those possessions create based on your relationship with them, and what your companions kind of reinforce within you, your friends, your associates, whether they reinforce positive things or reinforce negative things. So it's saying basically to stay away from those that reinforce negative things, and if your items are a problem for decreasing stinginess or increasing generosity, then you need to get rid of those as well. But it's not saying that one has to, because it's those who have a problem with this particular negativity of stinginess, lack of generosity. So I asked Rinpoche to clarify, because you could read it, bodhisattvas give up all possessions that intensify the faults of stinginess, and that could read in such a way that would seem that a bodhisattva can't have anything, and that's just not the case. We see even the current Dalai Lama as a translator's note who has things. Anyway, that's number 16. If you are following, taking notes within that 18 categories under this section. Dixon.
주님과 데려노 주님과 다다시비체 선나 유제라 차버줘 선나 유제라 차버줘나 투비 두바 당지 땅네 투비 두바 당지 땅네 샤추 두바 땅다 장티 제수 로바 당지바 담바시데 다기 다기스 한류 농슈 거와 탄지 시절라 다네 대야 농슈라 차바시나 다기 쉐반나 라부치 님에 동와나 춘주네 최시지 강을 해바나 살라 전도시베 르라 생고바 통네 하양 초른 줘봐 되네 야 하지 쉐바던 라오냐도 네 산네 마차바샤데 되니레스 파시디바 되니 이제와
Let's
토반나지 쉐주 전시네 네 산지게 네 쉐주 전시네 대주랑게 당제 산샤데 용진 차바 나바세 셔르 셀라 투비 담바 다다투 로아 kunla dagi 르단데 다단 추장 dagi 본제나 시릉을라 자기 시릉을라 dagi 차샤와 나비 추지달라 레바미 셰소스 오더바 주디바더레도다 양선아 제게 양 짐바당에 선아지 람버지 추 잡으레스 추 람버지 추 춘네 차바시용도 춘 추자그래 야살 들루제네 조조조 그래 야 추자거든다고 선아 짐바당에 양 선에 조게 어때 람버지 추시반다 그래스 어디 손대자
That's it. Okay, so number 17. When you act in this way, stinginess may lead you to feel attached to your goods. If so, become attached by thinking the sage reached enlightenment after he gave away every possession. Previously recalling my commitment to emulate him, I gave away my body, every resource, and all of my virtue to all living beings. If I am still attached to resources, I am behaving just like an elephant oppressed by the sun who goes into the water and bathes, and then back on dry land rolls in the dirt. Then again, after it sees that it is covered in dirt, it goes back into the water and does the same thing over again. The Compendium of Perfection says. So in the Tibetan, this reads like if the elephant is concerned with being clean, and that's why the elephant's taking a bath, then there's irony in that. So that the Tibetan reads that if the elephant's thinking of being clean, why does it keep making itself dirty? So the Compendium of Perfection says, recalling the superior deeds of the sages, strive at them and reflect on your commitment. Understand the following excellent thoughts in order to clear away your attachment to things. I gave away my body to all beings. Then I relinquished the virtue of this gift. My being attached to external objects is senseless like an elephant's bathing. So meaning that previous going from practice to not practice to practice to not practice doesn't make sense. If you go from being generous to miserly and back to generous to miserly, because previously you have said, I offer all of my body and resources to all sentient beings, but then you become miserly. It's similar to a repetitive process that has no purpose, such as an elephant making itself dirty and needing to bathe and creating that process over and over again.
다 주지바 되는도 주지바 타마든도와 주지바 되더라 땅이 편 짐바 땅에 있는 편 처벌을 마다는 예미 요아레스 더산 땅고레스 되더라 땅이 편 모두 산네스 짐바 땅이 편 롱쇼 치와라서바 네 편 모두 산네 네 조아 첨부당 용수 종유 조아 첨부당 용수 종유 예미 상비군에서 조아 첨부당 용수 종유 다 짐바당 칸발라서바 잘라요로 어디서는 예미 선나당 잡아지는 예미요 하레스 교요 하레스 대다당의 편당 산네 조아 산네 조아 첨부당 가보 용수 종유 예미 jimba tangja ge ze tu ngalo ne sana dang chabi onge jimba ma dang ba ji zongge na nyemi yo res ne nyemi sambe go ne jiba che nu nas jimba ma dang na wa de nyemi yo ba san dang ne shinan che tu do na ane jimba dang lo de nga ge je wo sa jimba dang lo de nga ge a phe ong res
Juje sar.
ya juje chan
Then the shunju long juje yomare.
아, 휴죽은
The
휴죽은 뭐도 대다당의 평행 모두 산에 주와 첨부 집 가버지 거래스 용수종 현재 용어부터 용수종에 있는 지마반단서 선나지는 종에 있나 예매 상배 고네 지바 첨부 제뉴나 근데 지마단 올로도 나가 배우를 나기 쪼스 어디서 주제도 말해
okay, the juje.
주제 산다
Okay, then the
나 올마 사실로 가지려
okay, then shunju long gemma. Okay. So number 18 is, if you are unable to generate intense delight as you contemplate the many benefits of giving things away, and great fear as you reflect on the faults of tight-fistedness, you will naturally produce a generous attitude. Accordingly, generate the thought of giving away everything to others at the conclusion of cultivating love and compassion, or at the conclusion of reflecting on the life stories of the conqueror, his children, and so forth. So that concludes that section. And
다
so
듣는 마.
forth. That whole
사실
Deishin
제가
to
질래는 거 아니봐.
Shabbadan.
지마데 지발은
This is
주바
just
뭐다.
strange something here.
레도 뭐라 메시지 도주송 레도 뭐 주제지. 니바 동안은 주발라. 동안은 주바들에도 동안은 주바들라. 어때 사지 가시 되는도 와. 동안은 주바스. 세제는 니지당 상제지 상세지 나태 전에 주바 상제는 상주 삼아서 나태 전에 아니 지바 당하는 주고레스 대진도 상바당 니지 장와당 자와세지지 나바타발라 소바 삼비 타려야 동생 집에 샤오사 대진도 네 샹바던 니지당 샹바당 세전타지 동안 도와다 되는 샹발로 장고레스 세전타지 동안 되는 니질로 장고레스 니지 장와당 자와세지 나바타바 자와 사지도 장주 삼바서 나바타바도 전에 나바타발라수바 삼비 타양 동생 집에 지마당 동생 공고레스 제바샤 어디바드 담부드
Then Gatsi Irebe.
드는 담부니 바 송바도
Sumire.
송다모데
Okay, so now we move into the next section. I believe there are three of. My break point was incorrect at the 18. It actually ends at generous attitude. So if you are able to generate intense delight as you contemplate the many benefits of giving things away, and great fear as you reflect on the faults of tight-fistedness, you will naturally produce a generous attitude. So that's the number 18. Now we begin a new section altogether. Rinpoche said he believes there's 3 points that breaks it into 3 points. Accordingly, generate the thought of giving away everything to others at the conclusion of cultivating love and compassion, or at the conclusion of reflecting on the life stories of the conqueror, his children, and so forth. When we generate love, this is generating the idea that may all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. Generating compassion is generating this idea that may all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. So these are the sentiments of these two topics that Lama Tsongkhapa is saying we can incorporate into this practice of giving everything away. We can. It says that accordingly generate the thought of giving away everything to others at the conclusion of cultivating love and compassion, or at the conclusion of reflecting on the life stories of the conqueror. So after one has generated the idea that may all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness, may all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, I give all away to those beings. You would, in this one instance, practice in that way, or it's saying after you've reflected on the life stories of the conquerors and the Jataka tales or so forth is what it's speaking of here, the Jerup. That's it. Let me just make sure. So,
Sanji Shansen, Naji Nata Trene, Juba Sat Tamburendo, Teji to Shambata Niji Jawanda, Jawasiji Naba Tabala Soba, Jawasiji Nata Trene, Naba Tabala Soba, Sambi Tayan, Natel Santane, Haji to Shanju Sambasugi, Jimbatane, Jimmy Parut Shin Yuares, Tendesan Mamatane, Te Talian, Tonsen Santan Juarez, Tonsen Chiber Shaus, what about Tambatre?
Okay, so
That's when you was.
Okay, so that is where this first one ends. Accordingly, generate the thought of giving away everything to others at the conclusion of cultivating love and compassion, or at the conclusion of reflecting on the life stories of the conqueror, his children, and so forth. Then a Shunju.
What the Nibatal Shunju Legando?
Okay. It's funny.
Chetu Shunju Les. Then Shambatan Hiji Shambatan, Jawasaji, Nata Jan, Tonsen Chebal and Jugures. Nata Jan, Tonsen Chebal and Jubi Sud Canderesana, and the Shunju Luson Yuares.
Less so.
Chetu Shunju Les. Le Dant de Jin Long Jetan. Tu son Gwa, Tanji Jan. Shenzhen Gunji Dun Rusher. Pomba Meba Tanwasha. Chez son bâtard, le long che gaza son mieux de chez ne Shenzhen Tanji la Sambe Dong Shao, so what about the Nibatere? Ta Shunju de Dunda de Doa. Jimbatan le Jimbatan Ayore, Longche Jimbatan Ayore, Goa Jimbatan Ayore, le dans, Jinja le dans, Teji to Longche dans, Sa Ton la Suba. Then Tusun Goa, Debi Goa, Tatai Goa, Mamobu Goa Tanji Jang, on the Jimbatan, Jinja Mobres, Tanji Jang. Shenzhen Gunji Dun Rusher. Shenzhen Tanji Dun Rubi Shedo, and the Jimbatan in San Ures, Dun Rusher. Pomba Meba, Sana Meba, then Tang Shas. Tajimba Shas, what the Tonsen to Kungures inside Pomba Meba, Tang Shash, Hesumba Tar, Le Lonsho Gazasun, Le Lonsho Gazasun, Miudo, Shene. Shenzhen Tanji la Sambe, Tuma, what about
Nipa? Okay, so now number 2 is the quote from the Shantidevas engaging in the Bodhisattva's deeds. So the previous quotes were from Arya Shura, the Compendium of Perfections. Now we get into a quote from Shantideva from the Bodhicharya Avatara, and it's supporting this idea of giving away all of these resources and body and so forth. So supporting what Lama Tsongkhapa is stating, that generate the thought of giving away everything to others. So then where is this from? Where is this idea from? And we find it in Shantideva's text. I will give away without a sense of loss my body and my resources, as well as my virtue, my root virtues hold on, just 1 second here. It doesn't, I think it doesn't read the same. One moment. Dusum Gewa Tamche. Okay, so it says, I will give away without a sense of loss my body and my resources, as well as my root virtues from the 3 times for the welfare of all living beings. You focus on 3 things, your body, your resources, your roots of virtue, and mentally give them away to all living beings. So I will give away without a sense of loss my body and my resources. So here, if it would help, giving one's body is very dear to oneself. So this decreases stinginess. So giving away one's body, one's resources, meaning the things that you have. This word can be translated as enjoyments or wealth. So it's the things that you have. And then it says, as well as my root, my virtue, all of my virtue, it says, as well as all of my virtue from the 3 times. This past, present, and future is what the 3 times is referring to, but the root text doesn't say past, it just says the 3 times, and then Rinpoche then explained what the 3 times is referring to. So I'm just explaining this because it would seem redundant if you just read the English. Why is Rinpoche being redundant? But it doesn't read in the Tibetan like that. What it reads in the English has just been interpreted. So it's taken what the 3 times is referring to and then just explained it instead of just saying the 3 times. So just as a note, Rinpoche explained what the 3 times are, meaning the virtues that occurred previously, the virtues that are occurring currently, and the virtues that will occur in the future. So that's what the 3 times is referring to. That is just explained here. Let me see. Oh, and then it's mentally give them away to all living beings. So this is something that you're mentally doing. You're not physically engaging in this particular context. You're just mentally imagining that you're giving these things away. Decent.
King member Sambi Sonjun Sambi Sonjun King member Somba de Duba Tangelas, the Duba Tangela, Dagan Zimbi, Siba Dones, King members, Susu Jimbata Jala Tuzule, Nadatu King, Kimbaja, Nashubi in Sandata, or the Chabaji Marson said, the Duba Tangela. Rangi dagan zimbi siba dune dagan zimbi suba dune jimba tanja ngabu tutule nende chat ka ures dune jen la tanyu ne samba ya to jon la chanju samba chades ote tabe sanlu de ya ne an sandan de chanju samba la res chanju samba chade 수송 무슨 바신 뒤발래 데다 탄지 체지 뭐인데 들라다기 나제 달메 된다이 매주 나도 야다야 주비 상지연데 젠당와 간라여 바샤주 삼바시 시 제세 상지 마저 제주송 제세 상지 마저 제주송 삼바시 제세 상지 마저 제주송 셰소사 어디 공도 당도와 파시 뒤바되는 파시 뒤바 너다 단지 체증원이 됐어 다시마 다 제도 체증원이 돼 늘라 다긴 아제 달라메스 어디 르던 오셔도들 다긴 제바 차바지 나제도 어디 달아요 말은 상주선바스 인지로다 달아 된다메중 나타야다야 주비 상지에 젠정와 간라여바들 안 상주선바스 그래스 제세 상지 뭐죠 제주송 제세 상지 뭐죠 제주송 상주 생바도 집에 나가 추로 추 집에 추 제주 송写所 서버도 송바래
If you stop the craving, so that's ends number 2. Number 3 now begins here. If you stop the craving that conceives everything to be your personal property, and then repeatedly condition yourself to the attitude of giving it all away to others, you will be called the Bodhisattva. The Compendium of Perfection says, "All these things are yours. I have no pride that they are mine." Someone who has this amazing thought repeatedly and emulates the qualities of the perfect Buddha is called the Bodhisattva, so said, the inconceivable Buddha, the Supreme Being. Dixon. There was one thing that Rinpoche did say, I just remembered, as he was reading through this. So the Bodhisattva's opponent is pride or miserliness. So it's saying that I have no attachment that they are mine. So the Bodhisattva is saying that I have no attachment. These things, I will give them all to you. So it's the opponent of miserliness. Dixon. Gongmechi.
다 뢰진바타 롱쉐 진바타 되네 뢰롱쉐 거와 진바타 진바타 카송도 카송 말베 뢰진바타 가서 네 샤자토베 담을 뢰진수 비유 살래 네 꿀뢰진 딸 진바타 담을 뢰진 가서 네 다다 제안도 어디서 말베.
So we have previous examples of these types of generosity in the previous life stories of Buddha. We see here these 3 things: giving away your body, giving away your resources, giving away your root virtues. So in the previous story of the Buddha, in a previous life, he engaged in the generosity of giving his body. He came upon a tiger and her cubs, and they were starving to death and had no food to feed them, so he actually took a part of the tree branch and shaved flesh from his own skin to feed the tiger and the babies so that they wouldn't perish.
What the Tamil what the Lujimatan, what the Tali Jimatan, then Ama Ama to do the Bogosadaji, Sadaji do Taku, Luta Ama Jimatan,
Lessa.
or the Tamil is big Sanjiado.
Lessa. So this actually happened in a place in Nepal you can visit where we say that the Buddha engaged in the generosity of giving his own body, where he offered this flesh to this mother tiger who was starving and her young.
What that Sanji, what the Tamil Jimatan, what the Nasuki, what the Tanda no Lutan, the Kali Cabres, and then also what the Jimbi Sanlu Mio Mares, Mami Gulu, what the Lujimba Madonna Agres, they wouldn't do it. Tata Maba Mami jeans, Tata Maba Mami jean, Tu Chong Yu, Sanlo, Jimbaton, Tonsen, Tu Chong Res, Tu Chong Yu, Sijana la Sambi, Lujin, Shin, Saint John's, Shalasuba Ngoso, Mete Mensa. Sans l'automne sur le de Jimbatan sans dans Hores, ne chala soba to so de Jimbatan Dieu Maris. Ne sans le coucher sur maison, ne Nyomojon ni hayo ta. Chala soba, ngozo metemens, un jan le sous temps eu, samba un jan le Jimbatan ya, sous Jimbatan le sous-temps samba majana combat mebe ta donné le sous ton menu ba ça tu les son bes ne chenju kasa changin de wage ça tu le son be ta donné samba jongos on est ngos matin ne wote sans le tout ne pas tant de le dans mon jeu j'ai pas tant jongos ta donné samba majana Jema Kadui Natan Nugumares, what this one is. Tata Meba Mamiji, Tata Meba Mamiji, Tu Chong Yu, 신전 나라 삼비 le dancing chance samba que tourne le dancing barete chala suba ngosu matemus chala suba ngosu tanju mares nyen khayo droda
That's so.
mateme venjan le su tan samba concours samba de maguna na kaduina le su jemba tantu mares samba kona mauba na tantu ba yungres venjan le su tan yu samba majana combat mebe samba majana combat yu mare combat mena tado jema tant mone ba chana gres le su tant mone ba sadu le son be tata ne samba Jean Gozos what Jean Gozos son bi coin ça
In the Becha de Shewala, Shantideva,
changer de wa
Sujas Chisa. Lopumbao, Shantsu. Becha de Long.
pagin du ba
De Long de Latu. De Long.
sadu de mare ba changer de wa
Okay, so if you stop the craving that conceives everything to be your personal property and then repeatedly accustom yourself to the attitude of giving it all away to others, you will be called a bodhisattva. The Compendium of Perfection says. So believe that I'd have to go back and look now, but this text is the by Shantideva. I know I said before Aryashura, so I just have to look and see if those are the same names in Tibetan. But anyway, all of these things are yours. I have no pride that they are mine. Someone who has this amazing thought repeatedly and emulates the qualities of the perfect Buddha is called a bodhisattva. So said the inconceivable Buddha, Supreme Being. At present, as your determination has not matured and is weak, you do not actually give away flesh, etc., though you have already mentally given your body to all beings. According to the Compendium of Trainings, however, if you do not train in the thought of giving away your body and life, you will not become accustomed to it, so you will remain incapable of giving away your body and life. Therefore, from now on, cultivate this thought. So it's saying that right now, we can look at the story of the previous life of the Buddha and see where he engaged in this generosity of giving his body. But we aren't at that level. We aren't at a place where we would know that that would be proper or giving our body would be right. So this is something that we mentally train in. This is something that we become almost prepared to do and accustomed to, so that in a future life, when we are realized and have to make a determination like that, we won't have any obstacles to giving away our bodies. We won't have any obstacles to giving away our things. So here it's saying that at the present, we don't have this maturation of thought, and we don't have the determination, nor do we have the realization of necessity to know whether it's needed or not. Because of that, we engage in this practice mentally and using our imagination, so that when the point comes where it becomes something needed more than imagination, we won't have any obstacles to doing it whatsoever, because we've been so accustomed to it. It's saying that we're already mentally giving away our bodies and so forth to all beings. We're saying this, but we really need to mentally train in this activity of actually giving it, so that it becomes more natural in future lives. Disung.
oji tatanuma somba zawara somba teta samba taba na sinjen la tang yu sa samba taba da le long she de zuro samba taba ne sinjen la tang yu se dang gu dang na khang la so ba jue ba na na jen le jen ba ta gu yu wa de long she yu wa de kang ba yu wa de an tu su nga ju be je gu res be je du jen de be je gu res jen de be je ba insan dan ne be je gu res ran de be je ba ina an shang ju sen be dong yong gu res ta da samba ta ba ne sinjen la tang yu se gu dang sinjen la tang yu jen ba ta se dang gu dang kang ba la so ba 네 나수 롱쇼바나 젠도 롱쇼 고르스 젠세제 네 세제 단지가 사지고 모두 비체도 비조시기 인상바산당 고레스 젠도도 다다 제벌 샤오 냐비 삼바 제네 오던데 산단 제 베쇼 마제바 제네 삼바 제바이나 제네 라던도 세비쇼나 라던도 르던 롱쇼 캄발로즈버도들 네 베조 제바이나 네 녀모제지 동안 사주 상발레 녀모제지 동안 용거레스 동안 자동 주제의 내제시로 어떻게 동안 가능지 연구에서로다 동안 당사 세번 매라 세제 단계라 미비 뉴시 조바 제방 세제 연식이 셔 차나네 찬네 뭐제 많이 미통하지 오사
Lessa.
다들 됐어도 안에 당자가
사와.
롱셔들 뇌차 매바지 세번 매라 세제 단계라 미비 뉴시 조바 세제 단계라 미비 뉴시 제바이나 조바 제방스 세제 제기 셔 차나네 세제 제기 셔 차바제바이나 젠 때하고 되달 차바제바이나 녀모제 많이 비통하디 용거레스 녀모제 많이 비통하 로마데 동화서 그나 녀모제 많이 비통하 동화라 녀모제 동화다 녀모제 많이 비통하니 자고도 동화 저오사
Nila?
야
Decent. Okay. So then Rinpoche, the Tranka Gare, Ngatsu the Sumba Tsar, then the Giant Sheba Sache, the Ngatsu Kabiyare. The Sumba? Nangla, the Sumba Tsar.
더더스들 니바지 니바 더더 상바탄 담부스야들 데면로 다다 마바 마미지 르도 총유사데 르지마타요 마르스 오데인사
Ah, the Tambo.
니바도 더더
Okay, Tuche.
오데인사
Okay. Then Gatsire Sum Yanje? Gats.
니도니
The Gats. Okay, so we're going into another section. I was just asking Rinpoche how many there are points there'll be in this section for people who are taking notes. So the first, this section, the first point is at present, your determination is not matured and is weak, related to giving away one's body. So the first point here is that in this new section is that we're mentally giving away these things. We're not actually giving away our flesh. We're not expected to go feed animals with our body. We're mentally doing this so that when the time comes where we're spiritually mature and that decision would be the right one, then we wouldn't have any obstacle to it. So that's the first category. The second category is this next paragraph. If you use food, clothes, shelter, and so on, that you have sincerely given away to all living beings, and you do so with craving for your personal welfare, forgetting the thought, I will use them for others' welfare, then you commit a major infraction. When you have no craving but forget to apply the idea of focusing on all living beings, or if you use these resources for a particular living being out of attachment, you commit a minor infraction. So here, this is referring to the 18 root vows and the 46 secondary bodhisattva vows. So it's differentiating between what a full infraction of the root vows is and what a secondary infraction would refer to. So it's saying that if you you've previously said, I give all these things away to others, and then you start using your things and don't in any way think about others whatsoever. You just previously said you would give them all away, but now you're using them without any kind of motivation, and you have this craving for, this attachment to this personal item without having any wish to give, this deep craving or attachment, then that's a major infraction. But if there's no craving, but the motivation of others isn't there, others' needs isn't there, then this becomes a minor infraction. So there's focusing on one's own needs and then focusing on others' needs, the Rangdun, Shendun. So I think, one's own needs and others' needs. So when you disassociate your thought pattern with others' needs and only think about your own needs, that's when the major infraction takes place. When this craving for your own needs isn't there, but there isn't this motivation for everyone, then it becomes minor. So that's the differentiation. I hope I didn't confuse it more, but Rinpoche made it clear, the difference, as does the text. Decent.
This one. That about the doju lego doju. Doju de la son doju de la Pombi doju tambaji Pombi doju and Pombi doju da Nyemeji doju da Monsu Matinyabe Tayu do
Duchess?
Tawa Chu Minanabe doju sonre no doju Doba Juba Marba Doba Juba son del Doba son
Duba Sanlo?
Dot Marba Dot.
Oh, Gongel Mebichi,
Pas
Rinpoche.
dot second
Less Tetsum.
doju son
Tetsum Sum.
Ah.
Dandrar.
doju son
Okay.
doju la sa Pombi doju tambaji Pombi doju Pomba sena wa de Suda Shansen Sanga Samal Pomba yodo pa Pomba Suda Pomba je ane Shansen Tatung Juji marbe Sanga le Tatung yoro Tatung Juji kaza wa de Pomba sa de wa de Zayu Tungwa de Pomba sa de marbe Pombi doju tambal legendo Pombi doju je Pombi Tene Pombi doju dambaji Tene Nyemeji doju Nyeba mebe doju Nyeba je Ngosu matisambe Tangwa chu mena nyabe doju son nan Pombi doju do dere Dela kajis Dela Pomba doju yung da Pomba sena pena Shangchu sembal Pomba jiyo, Gelong Pomba jiyo, Pomba jiyo, Sujiba Majimba Lemba Mazamba Shuba
Okay, Route 4.
Dun Jimarbe, Dun Jire, or the Pomba sir, the Pomba, the Kuzuna, go up on the Jimero Pomba. The Shangchu sembal Satung Juji, Dadu Jeme, Chinemen, what to say to Marbe, Shangchu sembal Pomba the Jiro. And then Lama Yemen, Loja shoes under the what the Pomba Jayo, what the Susun is at it. The la Kajis, Senior Tangela Hoba Yembe, Senior Gilla in Town Massibis, Senior Gilla in Town Massibis, Pomba Monshi de la Asa, Monshi de la Asa. And the Tanja Jimba Jalan the Yobaina, and the Sijan Tanjil Hojabaina, and the Sijan what did it on Song Maris. Pombas and not the gas over there. But now Jabugi Kuman Jukuba Jabugi Cheba Jagli Kumakuachu, what the Sota Pomba in Pomba. What the day church Kumakubaina. Pomba is Pomba. And the Shangchu Sambas Date Jimmy or Tatung Tanjadua Pomba said Pomba Jeo the Roda. And the Sejan Jalaji Sejan Tanjil Jimba Tanjayana, Sejan Tanjil Tanyoris, and what the Jala the Kana, Sejan Jil Rentan Pomba Kuyage, Rentan Tanyo Maris, 가지고 쪄발래.
Ale, nga the senchen tamche, the chala tamche
맞아.
teson.
단 롤라자즈는 롤라자데 네 세전 단지를 지마다나 롤라자드 켜봐이나 네 세전 롤라자자 더 말어다 변샤 가지지만 더 말해
Ale.
어떤 거는 고마 pomba 용어 말해서 가지지고 좋은 거 같아.
Okay, so we're getting into a section. I'm going to do the best I can with it because it's a debate type section where there are some ideas that are incorrect that have come up in terms of value, and is something stealing? Is it a root transgression or a secondary transgression? So it starts to get kind of complex in this section in terms of what Rinpoche's commentary is, so I'm going to just do the best that I can with it to make it make sense. And it's dealing with infractions. And how does one commit an infraction? An infraction occurs when you have specific abandonments that you have committed to abandon. And if you don't abandon them, then this is a transgression. So there are root vows, and then there are secondary vows, or primary vows and secondary vows. So when we look in terms of there are different kind of vow sets. There are tantric vows, there are bodhisattva vows, there are individual liberation vows. So all of them have different commitments. So the individual liberation vows, we have the 7 lifetime vows of just as a translator's note, the 2 of the layperson, the 2 of the novice, the 1 of the probationary, and then the 2 of the fully ordained. So we have 7 total individual liberation vows, and then the bodhisattva vows, 18 root and 46 secondary vows, and then the tantric vows, we have the 14 root vows. So there are different meanings of let me say that again. Transgression depends upon what vow you've taken and what you've committed to, and whether it's a cardinal or a secondary depends on what vow you've taken and what set it falls categorically under. So it says one more thing. So for instance, the fully ordained monk or nun, they have 4 cardinal transgressions. They have many, many vows, hundreds, but there's 4 root vows. No killing, no stealing, no lying, and no sexual contact. So these are the 4 root vows of the ordained person. So these, if you break any among those 4, that's a cardinal transgression of a major vow. So let me see here. So with regard to the material goods that you have turned over to others, the Compendium of Training states, so that's the reason I was questioning before. I believe the Shantideva text is called Compendium of Trainings. So I would need to go back and look at what each of these said the name of the text were, just to know if this is Compendium of Trainings or not. Rinpoche was referring to Shantideva, so I don't know both those texts well enough to know which one it's from. So that's here you see Compendium of Training. So with regard to material goods that you have turned over to others, the Compendium of Training states that when you use them for your own welfare, fully cognizant of their being the property of others, you are stealing. And if the total value is enough, you commit a cardinal transgression of vows of the individual liberation. So any among the 7 lifetime vows that you have, those 4 vows are present as root vows. Even in the layperson vows, you find those 4, just as a translator note. You commit a cardinal transgression of vows of the individual liberation. So in response to this, so there are some that say that since you've turned over your food, etc., to all living beings, it's impossible for the total value of one being's portion to be enough, so you can't commit a cardinal transgression. So it's saying that because value is part of the vow, in order for it to be a cardinal transgression, you are taking something of value, there's people who misinterpret it and say, well, you've given everything away to all beings, and that's a lot. So there's no value that you could take from one person that could be as much. So it's saying that if you were to steal something, Rinpoche gave the example of $100 from one person, you've already given away so much that value. Others misinterpret it and say, well, that's not enough value because you've already given more. So that's how the debate goes. If I'm not wording it completely, I think everybody understands it. It's saying that you've done so much, just one, to all sentient beings, how could one really matter that much, is what it's saying. So that's a wrong view, by the way. It's saying that some would say that you cannot commit a cardinal transgression. Others say this is not correct because you have turned over your belongings as a whole to each being individually. Others argue that even though you have mentally surrendered them to others, they do not take personal possession of them, so there is no cardinal transgression. So this is how debate takes place, and it goes back and forth until someone is able to completely negate all the fallacies through logic.
yin la ngwa ba da
Where am I?
yin la ngwa ba da la yin ji ze su de she ne rang ge shi de nas ma jin la de ju shi ren zang sang na su de ji phong ban ju la du le song so yin la ngwa ja ba cha la yin la ngwa ja ba cha la de yin ge yin sang sang dan ne an de be je ba yin na rang ge shi be je ba yin na Majin la tu jushins, majin la de nugres. Rintan sana, soda ji pamba jo la du le son dos. Soda ji pamba jo la du le son sos. What does it san down with? Jen le hua be jala yin na ya. Jen la hua be jala jen yin san ne. Su jala yin na ya. Jen la hua yu na. And jen yin san ne. Until be je ba yin na. Randon do. And imagine that you is Rintan Sana and Sudak Pombachan is Rintan Sawas. Rintan Sudak Pomba Rintan Sawas, then Loman commanded Queen and the Jabuki Cheba Jag does not go on what the Pomba is more. Chujun Jugun Jabi Cheba Jag in Omarada. The commander Cheba Guna and Jabuki Cheba Jero. Rintan T. Sudak Pomba, Guna Pomba Jungres, Rintan Sana Sudachi, Pomba Joa, Ladulu Sonzosa. Ladulu Sonzosa.
Okay, so the first point is from the compendium of trainings that's made. So we'll find these individual points and then how they could be misinterpreted. So that's the kind of how this first one is anyway. So the compendium of training states that when you use them for, let me read it from the heading. With regard to material goods that you have turned over to others, the compendium of training states that when you use them for your own welfare, fully cognizant of their being the property of others, you are stealing, and if the value is enough, you commit a cardinal transgression of the vows of individual liberation. I see. Within the definition of stealing, it's something of it's taking something of others of value. I think that value word is in there, and that's how this debate starts, because the value word is in that. Now I see what's happening here. So the first point is the first thesis or statement is from Shanti Deva's text, and it's saying that if you take anything from others of value, then this is a cardinal transgression. Okay.
Sinjin Tanji la Munsha Yuaris, Munsha Yu Maba Yimbe, and then Sinjin Jilla Rintan Sang Maris, Rintan Sang Masibe, and the Kig Dazuana, Pamba Yungu Maris and those Kajin Duba, Jilla Dua.
Kensa, Lessa.
Tajinda Yang Kaji and the Sundus, Tasijin Rilla, Uji Rabu Mbe, 때 메테바 마신스 세제를 라든 상상와 차상 예바당 요아레스 뭐베 네 다마를 되는 다마서서 태금도스 메테바 마신스 야 제다 같이 라라 제랑 회장 대다도 좀 매베 제랑 회장 다다 좀 매베 파바메도스 제랑 회장 다도 좀 요마레 매장 네 봐봐 용어 말해서 도스 가지 넣어 송도 송
I see. So this is based on the mental thought that you've given them to others. So how can you use them now? So are you stealing? So if you separate your thought from this idea and you begin to think of them as your own again, are you stealing from them? So I see that's the point. So if you've made this intention, you've given away all these things to sentient beings, and then you then use them, are you stealing from them? So these are some of the points that are being made within this. So one of the points is that, so I'll begin in response to this. Some say that since you have turned over your food, etc., to all living beings, it is impossible for the total value of any one being's portion to be enough, so you cannot commit a cardinal transgression. Others say that this is not correct because you have turned over your belongings as a whole to each being individually. Others argue that even though you have mentally surrendered them to others, they don't take possession of them, so there is no cardinal transgression. So there are all these differing points from the first one that are made. So the first point is the correct one that our school would hold, that with regard to material goods that you have turned over to others, states that when you use them for your own welfare, fully cognizant of their being the property of others, you are stealing, and if the total value is enough, you commit a cardinal transgression of the vows of individual liberation. So here again, speaking of one's own needs and others' needs, and as soon as you revert back to one's own needs, then this transgression takes place. Rinpoche, the kali kali nga triwa yure, the sanlo dano na, the nge sanlo, nge chala tamche, semchen tamche te, dene nge pudding, beche che, the gumagu, the dasidandu, gangen sena nge the pudding, teson, dene nge peche che, nga sanlo dan kuna, dene tsawa. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was getting this correct. If I've given away all things to sentient beings, this is what I just said to Rinpoche. If I've given away all of my things to sentient beings, and then I am sitting here and am no longer thinking of sentient beings, think about my own needs only, and I use this pen out of attachment and say, this is my pen, then that transgression has taken place because you have given them away. But if you are using it with this mindset of others' needs, then it's not a transgression. So I was just clarifying with Rinpoche if that's what it's really the debate's about here. Is it that now I've already offered it, and now if I'm using it, am I stealing it? And that is part of the argument, that if as soon as this pen I think of as mine again, then there's a transgression. It's subtle, so I'm sorry I'm not, I just want to get this as clear as possible, because it's very interesting. 내 kangat sanlo, Rinpoche. Leso. Leso.
타예바 상바 타바네 훈신 공반내서 어디 공반내 다마도 대단들 해서 제르무시 대 다마도 공반내
The nge long lomason gonga mebuchi. I just need to read the quote here. So the Compendium of Perfection states, Bodhisattvas give all possessions that intensify the fault of stinginess or that do not expand generosity, the deceivers that become an obstacle. Bodhisattvas, did I just pass? I did. I'm sorry. I just went to the wrong page, I think. Hold on. Yeah, I did, of course. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. The intended meaning behind the compendium of training statement is that you incur a cardinal transgression given that the total value requirement has been met when you sincerely turn your food, etc., over to a human being, and this person knows it and takes possession, whereupon you, fully cognizant of their being another's property, appropriate them for your own use. Therefore, the positions stated by the others are wrong. Rinpoche, did Sanlo ni nyune te dang Sanlo te?
상로 돈 지마다 간 데레노다.
Okay, so this is all thinking, generosity of thinking, giving. I'm asking if this is speaking of both actual giving and generosity in the mind, and he said this is speaking of the mental generosity here.
어디지 딱 가지 있는데 봐도 다 지르면서 계속 난데레 손에 있어. 공반에 메인도와 타예바 삼바타바네스 공반네스 메인도와 삼바타바네스 도에 공반
Gombane
공반에 따마도 난데레 손에 있어. 공반에 메인도와 타예 메인도와 라사 메인도와 라인도와 메인도와 라 삼바타바네 응외신스 지바당하다 메인도와 라 삼바타바네 응외바이나 응외신 대장 메인도와 쪽에 되는 와든 알은 응외송삼바 시되나 대리네 다도 종이 거소 네 예지마 드시네스 라던도 램바이나 리탄상나 팜바원와 들라공소스 이제 팜바세도 어디 질문지 담아도 난데레스 담아 자중지 나로려 되지로 어디를 못 줘야되다 다 질문지 문엔데레스다 이 공반에 메인도와는 힌타반 삼바타바 심바당요나 삼바타바는 뭐지 삼바타바는 심바당와도 로아 메인도와 시되나 대장 리네 대신에 다두는 거소스 제제마 되시네 라던도 램발라 나 레탄상나 소타 팜바용거레스 팜바용거레 들라공소 스제르미지 다만 뭐부줘야 돼도 어디 자중지 된다 대인서로 들라공소
The intended meaning behind the compendium of training statement is that you incur a cardinal transgression, given that the total value requirement has been met, when you sincerely turn your food, etc., over to a human being, and this person knows it and takes possession, whereupon you, fully cognizant of there being another's property, appropriate them for your own use. Therefore, the positions stated by others are wrong. Then Rinpoche, the Lama Tsongkhapa, the Kalen, the Ngats, the Sanlo Jimba, the Mei Jenda, the Chala Ragamare. Did Sanlo Yoma?
메인도와 라 삼바타바는 뭐신스 메인도와 Jimba 당 산로도 여바인 당연나 메인도와 Jimba 당한테 칸라 당사기 유득 시송나 대장 드리네스
Then Conshe.
ngal sinje tangel me do ngal jeba tang do san shesona renes tene da du zon yu kao so jen ma do shene ran do le dan sana ane phamba yong de se phamba so de phamba yong de se da so sanlu to do sanlu
Kangat Sanlo, Nga the Cha Lich the Gayu Teson. Then a jemba yanjer ra de yomare.
们参嘛了该有金巴当中呢
Okay, tuchena. Yeah, they made
参嘛
some
了该
gayu
有金巴
jimba
当
dan.
中呢
Less so.
当把的人那个线中呢俺都可大主中呢该有
This
的
is
人当
mine.
上呢
This cup is
恐怕有
mine.
的是
Okay, so I'm just trying to get clear. So if you've had this mental generosity, say it's not about I gave Lich a cup and then I want it back. It means that this is all mental. That if you've in your mind given all sentient beings a cup, and then you think this cup is mine, then this is the infraction takes place. So it's so if you've in your mind mentally said that everything I own, all of my things are for others, and then you're using them and think just of yourself and that you're not that it's not others, then at this point you've reverted back to miserliness in some way. It's very subtle, so this is going to take a long time. Just keep reading it over and over and refer to other commentaries just as a translator's note because it's subtle. But Rinpoche is saying that this is all talking about mental. This isn't any kind of just giving. This is, and just as a translator's note, when you mentally give happiness, you imagine at the end of the giving and taking process that the sentient being has accepted and becomes happy or accepts your happiness. So the conclusion has been met. So in your imagination, you've imagined that those sentient beings know that you've worked for their welfare. So that's what I was asking Rinpoche. How is this qualification met? The person knows it and takes possession. How does a person know it and take possession if it's mentally taking place? And he says that's part of the mental activity. You're imagining that the person knows it and has accepted it. Part of your mental generosity is imagining that you're generous to someone and that they accept it and know that you've given it to them. So that's how it is. And if I've mistranslated anything, I do truly apologize, but this is new for me. Tuchen ngay sampa tselpo chason.
Yeah.
Ngay sampa.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It must not be as difficult as I'm making it, because he doesn't seem to think it's very difficult.
다 송바 되는 마테네 송바 디시르 데바 yenji 로즈마 마테토스 디시르 데바 yenji 로즈마 마테토 송바 디시르 누에 디시르
There.
디시르 데바 yenji 로즈마 마테 데바 yen지 다시라마 데바 주지요로 데바 주지는 데바 yen다지 로레스 러넨 디그마레스 제미 태그만 로송레 데바 yenji 로즈 마와 마테토스 세제 고랑기 롱슈 제라 쿠이 돈샤우 향네 제난 예바메데사 자 세제 고랑기 롱슈 세제 고랑기 롱슈 제네스 세제 고랑기 잘라나면서 아주 베저제 롱슈 제네 내가 그 돈샤오 영상 담바이나 네바 용고 말레스 진짜 네바 메도스 네바 메데스
Oh, okay. Answers.
사두레스 다부단 집이 롱슈나 제스 다부단 집 다도 종유 다부단 집이 롱슈나 제 다부단 집이 르송원하베 제나 네바 메도스 다도 종유 컴바나마 지여바이나 네 다부 쇼바 나지 다부나 제비 르 종원한 제나 네바메도스 다부나 제비 롱슈스 다주 롱슈 다잘라 몽용으로 다주 롱슈 나제스 롱슈 나제 다부나 제비 르 송원하베 다부나 제비 르 다부도 제 르송 원하네 안 잘라들 베제 제바 이나 네바요 마레스 라듀렌도 라듀
Lessa. Lapdu.
다부도 제베 롱슈 나제스 다부도 제베 롱슈 나제 다부도 제베 르송 원하 다부도 제베 르딩아 송고 인냐네 데 베제 제기나 네바요 마레스 nyeba medes ten ta du ji le sheba kangi choa dagi ji yeba maino dagi ji yeba maino shezo sa
That's so. Okay.
la dule dabudan
That's
jibi
it.
longshu na dabudan jibi longshu na ji dabudan jibi le song wo nyabi jenas dabudan jibi le song ge yin chang de beje jiba ina nyeba yo ma res ten ta du ji yu le she bas ten su yu bu lag mar ba jabu gi yu bu na mun lag ro ten ta du ji yu le she ba kan ge is chua da ge je yu ba mai no sa
That's so.
ten ta du jabu gi le kha je ngen du lo de kun le chala su yo mar ku
Less so.
jabu gi chala beje je ro da
Less so.
o de ni song de
Less so.
ji yu le she ba kan ge chua da ge
Servants.
je yu ba mai no sa ku chua ge je den jabi chala beje je go ma du kun lu yo ma ro
Less so. Still
o
do.
de ni song de she so
Less so.
kete yuje de senje la ngwe sin be jiba ta zen de senje la ngwe sin be te ma na wa je na nya ban ju ru nya ne te ju me de sa kete yuje de senje la ngwe sin ba yin za jiba ta zen de senje la ngwe sin be te ma na wa ta de chino be je jen di ge ma na 만나와 들베제 제나 냐반조는 냐나
Ale.
티준요 말레스
Still do.
티준메데
Less so.
데니레 주유드라 준비 전제 조 나와라 수베 조 나와라 수베 아네 메 로젠제 나와 내가 제장 내가면도 호사 kete yuje na la huan senbe, senje la huan senbe, te ma na na che na, nyeban jure nya na, ti jun yo ma res,
That's so.
tenye le son la du yin ro. La du tenye le, ju dun la, chun ba ten ji, ju na wa. Ta ju sin na ma te ta gar ji, te yu bu yung ro, yu bu. Ju na su na wa na la su be, nye yu lu jen je, na me ba, anu ku jab, neba de chala al beje je na, neba yu ma res, neba me do. Yeah.
Okay. So there is no fault in using some living beings' resources if you think while using them, I do this for their welfare. The Compendium of Training states, again, this is all mental. It's not saying you go over to your neighbors and take something and say you're doing it for their welfare. This is all, just translators know, this is all mental. There is no fault in using some living beings' resources if you think while using them, I do this for their welfare. The Compendium of Training states, and that it definitely says Lapdu, that's the Compendium of Trainings, which is Shanti Deva's text. There is no fault in using things if you think I am taking care of my body, which is owned by others, with these resources that are owned by others. Slaves or servants have no material goods of their own with which to survive. So a servant of a king, for instance, uses all of the king's stuff, things, his food, his drinks, his accommodations, all of these things the servant uses, really has no things of his or her own. So the example is of that we look at ourselves as servants to living beings, and that we've given our bodies to them, we've given all of our resources to them, and that we use certain things, and as it says here, taking care of my body, which is owned by others, with these resources that are owned by others. I use them, here, hold on. Here it is. There is no fault in using some living beings' resources if you think, while using them, I do this for their welfare. So I've given my body, I've given my resources. I need to use some of these resources for their welfare. So it's always thinking of others' needs. There's one, Rinpoche keeps repeating, there's one's own needs, one's own wishes, one's own desires, and then there's others. So the Bodhisattva is constantly working for others' welfare, others' needs, others' wants, etc. I do this for their welfare. So the Shantideva's compendium of training states, there is no fault in using things if you think I'm taking care of my body, which is owned by others, these resources which are owned by others. Servants have no material goods of their own with which to survive. And then it says, you may think I incur a fault because after I've turned over these belongings to living beings, I use them without their permission, but there is no fault. The compendium of training says, a servant who labors, why do they choose that there? A servant who labors hard on a master's behalf might use the master's belongings without permission when the master's mind is unclear due to illness and so forth, but incurs no fault. So when the king is sick, for instance, and doesn't see any of his servants, they still use all of the things, and there's no fault. They don't get in trouble for doing so because it's assumed that they're working for the king's needs and they're using them for that purpose. So that's why there's no fault, because the servant serves the king, needs to eat, needs to have somewhere to sleep and so forth in order to serve the king. So we look at it in this same way. In order to serve sentient beings, we need to utilize these things. Selpulavsa. Tu chenerum che, this shitty abudu.
Tendawala nipa mendo nyauto madeba jene riga mares mijate tenye les pashi diwa ladu tenye injirwa tata shobe shanju senpe teto dagi tekona mariba madeba shawa marite tun sen ngota chenpo chen yonso sheba njoro sheba shoro sa
Kabiyore, Gilde, Yuja.
Moi, c'est là dans maintenant. Le temps c'est d'une. Le temps de d'une temps eu. Tendo tendo sang dans hibu yo maris labaina. Diga maris on jermeje. Ne hibu medu na to madeba majade. Teniles. Laudu teni jiro, laudu teni le. Tata shuebi shanju senbi tedo ngaji ki te kona mariba madeba sha marite tongi samba ngota chenpo chen yonsu shebi sheros wade chude la kaji ki titong sha mariso osa ya wade badu tsandre.
Okay. So do not lack faith and think mentally giving everything away to living beings while not actually giving it is tantamount to a lie, and therefore is without real substance. The compendium of training says, some people who are close to a bodhisattva, who practice is in this way, fail to understand the bodhisattva's practice accurately and lack faith. This is unwarranted because they are well acquainted with someone who has a great and wonderful spirit of generosity. It is wrong for them to doubt this method. So again, this is all in preparation for when one has the real ability to help, once one is realized. So this is all practice. So now we'll get into the divisions of generosity.
ten susu la tubi yewa dan raye dan yinba ranke nguyu yewa dan nguyu yewa tamba la tamba chuden tu shayu ten tambas wo ta tena wana de yungu do ta somba yinbi yewa la sungren duwa ten je ta shayu ten je ta shawa yinba tanga ten de le ten de ka me yungu la yungu res je ta shawa ji ten susu la tubi rayes ten susu me ina la ina da susu la tubi yinbi yewa yinba rang ngon tang yewa wo yinba rang ngon ra tu yewa wo sa nguyu ra tu yewa ji tambu la tambu dere wa ta ten tangji jeta shawa tala tamba chuden sha wu res tamba chuden tambu la tamba chuden tu shayu ten tamba sa tamba chuden ten tamba ngabu tamba ne jimba tamba reba ngabu tamba chedu shawa tamba ne take tamba huwa tamba chuden imba re huwa tamba chu tatani bawa tamba chuden de jimba tandu le longsho kari jimba tamba ina ne jimba tamba chuden jine jimba tangu res
I see. Less so.
tatani wate
Less so.
tamba chuden chayu ten tamba nesa ten tamba de kanda jago sana shanchu ji sen la tenba de gun la ne sheba wos ten tamba da shanchu senba
Less so.
jimba tanghen shanchu senba de ten tamba ro jimba tanghen na ya shu de da ten tamba shanchu senba shanchu ji sen la tenba de gun la ne sheba wos de ten tamba res 다 ngobu tamba di karja gosa, ngobu tamba ne, she jinbi ngobu maluba, choba yinla, cheba na ne, cheba na lan choba na, di samba mandorwa, yodos. 다 ngobu tamba de wate jinja, le longshe kartang, jinba tanga de wate, ngobu tamba de marwe, ngobu tamba jinjat. Jinba tanga le longshe tanga wate so, ngobu tamba je. Ngobu tamba ne, shi jinbi ngobu maluba, sheba yin la asa. Jinbi ngobu tsama lbe je jibal se res. Cheba na la nyoba na, ti samba manduwa yodos. 다 칸바타 고여진바타 칼라진바타 수수수수도 라베이나 싱어부 말레바 타지 제버도 조바나 디 선바만도 요도스 체드샤와 담바드 가르스나 지바다드 가리기 체도 고바 가리기 체도 지바탄고 아레스 체도 저와 담바네 시전 단계라 체도 도와다 포스 팬비셔도 동오사 시전 단계라 체도 도와 포스 팬비셔도 지바당와들 체도 저와 담바서 그래스 체도 저와 담바 시전 체도 저와 담바네 시전 단계라 체도 도와다 포스 팬비셔 셔도 동오스 그래 주나.
Okay, so now we move on to the divisions of generosity. So we find that there are three parts. How everyone should practice it is number one. Number two is divisions of generosity relative to particular persons. And number three is divisions of actual generosity. So what is generosity? Generosity is the motivation to give. So So that's the short way you can define it. There are longer definitions, but the short way is that is just this desire or motivation to give. So let's see. So these three categories all have subdivisions as well. So if you look forward, you'll find Rinpoche just gave some of the subdivisions of how to practice it, how everyone should practice it, divisions of generosity relative to particular persons, and then the divisions of actual generosity, the gift of the teachings of fearlessness and material gifts, and then and so forth. So the different types of things that can be given, and then also what kind of basis does one need in order to give. So can one engage in generosity in the lower realms? Is one only in the higher realms? So what kind of basis is needed in order to give? So all of these things will be explained. So we begin with section number 1, how everyone should practice it. And it says, Asanga's Mahayana Compendium says that you practice generosity in association with 6 supremacies. So there are these 6 supremacies of supreme basis, supreme things, supreme aim, supreme skill and means, supreme dedication, and supreme purity. And it begins with supreme basis. Supreme basis means that you practice generosity based on the spirit of enlightenment, i.e. you act after you have been motivated by it. So your actions are all moved by this spirit of enlightenment. So it's based on this desire to become a Buddha for sentient beings that motivates your generosity. So it's saying that the basis of it is the spirit of enlightenment, or bodhicitta, is the base of generosity. And then it says supreme things means that in general you give up all objects that can be given, and even when you are engaged in specific acts of generosity, you do not give up this thought of giving away everything. So even when you're giving something specific away, you're still thinking you're giving everything away. So you don't ever give up this wish for everyone. You never give that up. Even though you're helping a single person, you're still thinking of everyone at the same time. So you're not, what's the word? Anyway, you're not picking and choosing your generosity. There's always this constant giving to all that is occurring, even when you're giving to one. So there's no discrimination in your generosity whatsoever. So when you're giving to someone who's close to you, you're still giving to someone who's not. Supreme things. So these means all of things, owned and unowned, your house, your enjoyments, your body, all these things are objects of giving. And then supreme aim is when you give things away to all living beings for the sake of their immediate happiness and ultimate benefit. So the reason that you're doing the giving is so that the person at that time becomes happy, but ultimately becomes enlightened. So the aim of it is to have the person, him or herself, become enlightened. But the short-term aim is to make them happy, to give them some sort of happiness. I believe that's where Rinpoche Dopa. It's top loma song.
Tage tamba.
Tapke tampa loma song. They ngay de kason.
Tage tamba toni tu bishira ko simba redwa. Tage tamba ne naba mo tu bishiji simba la song te sa. Naba mo tu bishiji toni tu bishira ji simba la song do se. Ishi simba la song te le tamba yu ne chue rangin me tu ji shira ji simba la sha wo sa. Naba mo tu bishita toni ngosung tu bi. shira ji simba sa na tonglang gonglang mulo lang te ma yue maro.
Lesa.
Le tamba tonglang batan julang batan su le toni tu bi tuanshi tu bi shira simba la sha ndiga res.
The Yanjisurunang, Jula and Tonla, Yanjis.
나바 모두비 이셰지 심바스 세야데 샹생 파바이 주지
Lesso.
돈이도 셰로 심발레
Lesso.
인사와
Lesso.
달레 동보 손롱바도 저롱바도 간다자고 그러잖아 또 나바 모두비 이셰지 심발라 손데 레 동보유네 추장지면 모두비 셰로지 세나 디그레스 무슨도 그거 말레스 심발라 샤오스 타겟 나바도 데레도아
Ale, then Tonlang Gugumari, Solan Julan Disu.
나바 모두비 셰신 바스나 파비 팔랑 자고 고도 팔랑 나바 모두바 자데 돈이 원순도 바 자고 그래 손랑 줄랑 거 돈이
Ale,
말어
Ale, okay.
손랑 줄랑 줄 돈이도 비셔라 심발 자는 디그레스
Lesso. Solan Julan.
어제
Lesso. Okay, so the next is supreme skill and means, and this refers to a generosity that is imbued with either the direct cognition of the nature of reality or an understanding of it. So if it's not direct, the understanding. So for instance, one gains an understanding when we look at the 5 Mahayana paths, path of accumulation, the path of preparation, the path of seeing, the path of meditation, and the path of no more learning. And the Bodhisattva gains this understanding of the nature of reality from an intellectual standpoint when the calm abiding and special insight is when one moves from the path of accumulation to the path of preparation, there is this understanding without a direct perception. The direct perception doesn't occur till the path of seeing. Let's read this. It said, supreme skill and means is said to be when generosity is imbued with non-conceptual sublime wisdom. So that's the first way. And that's referring to specifically those who have reached the path of seeing or above. So the path of seeing, the path of meditation, or no more learning. So that first part's referring to specifically superior beings, Aryas, those beings who've reached the path of seeing or above. The second one is all others who are interested, and it says, beginning bodhisattvas should take this. So a beginning bodhisattva, one becomes I see, path of accumulation. One becomes a bodhisattva at the path of accumulation. So when the bodhisattva moves from the path of accumulation to the path of preparation, the qualifying part to that is this understanding of emptiness that starts to occur. So they become a bodhisattva at the path of accumulation. So it's saying those bodhisattvas on the path of accumulation and the path of preparation should take this to be the wisdom that knows the lack of intrinsic nature and objects. So the understanding of the inferential cognition of emptiness, of dependent origination, and so forth. So the bodhisattva who has not yet reached the path of seeing should utilize their intellectual understanding of it, and their generosity should be saturated with that. So it should be imbued with it. So it's saying that the first point is an Arya being giving, and if one isn't an Arya yet, a bodhisattva who isn't an Arya yet, then would practice it based on intellectual understanding and not direct perception. So that is the supreme skill and means. So it's the generosity and the motivation, or the mental state, an understanding, the understanding of that generosity's nature, whether it be a direct perception of the nature or it's an inferential, intellectual understanding of that nature. It's giving while simultaneously knowing that, translators note, action, agent, and object are all empty. So either you directly know that or you intellectually understand that that's the truth. So the learning bodhisattvas who have not yet gained seeing understand it. So that understanding couples with the generosity, whereas the direct perceiver, that couples with the generosity. So these are this is what skill and means. So, Diksung, Hua.
당 공화 답하는 거와 두죠 동공화스 안 거와 가르사바 있나야 생전 탄지도 두 선지고 두 샤오냐베 두죠 동공화 홍고레스
Lesso.
두죠 동공화 있나 제타 자수 출나 추티 따라 자수 먹어 봤다면서 Tiji Shanchu Yang Gawa Yang, Shanchu Matu Batemes, what does the double Maribe?
Less so.
Chutiba Jasu Nolasuna, Jasu Magamba, Chut Segamaro. Then I go out to Jina, say Taji to do Sanji Gomo to Jungobaina, Sanji Gobo Matu Jubatu, go out to a Sayo Maris, Shanchu Matu Batemes is, what does the double Matu?
Supreme dedication means that you dedicate the virtue from generosity to complete enlightenment. So it's very similar to what we've gone over many times before, that dedication is very important. So once you've engaged in this generosity, you need to dedicate it to becoming a Buddha, that this generosity is dedicated to that purpose. And the reason is that previously the Buddha said, just like a drop of water from a bucket that is put into the ocean is not extinguished until the entire ocean is extinguished. Likewise, a virtue dedicated to Buddhahood remains until it becomes a cause for that Buddhahood that occurs. So it's saying that the properly dedicated virtue dedicated to Buddhahood remains until that happens and becomes a cause for it. Disung. Just like a drop of water in the ocean doesn't go away until the whole ocean does.
Hoa Naman Gawa Dujan Hoa was. Da Nabara Taba Tamane, Numu Shiji Jeba Gubate,
Less so.
Tiba Chimbi Dubaleshi Tosa, Tidu Sundusa, Tidu,
Then
Tidu Papa to Major, Numu Shiji Jeba Gubas, Numunguba, Shidin Guba, Numun Nebatea, Shidin Nebatea, Numusana, and then the Jacondos to Numu Maribe. Shidi Omatanju was in a Shidi Numu Pachat, Shidi is Numutan Shidi Guba de Tiba Chimbu Dubal Shi Dosa, or the Tabitu, Tijin Dubal Sundos.
So then
What to me, but
less about Tome. Less so. Supreme purity is when you stop both the afflictive and cognitive obstructions. So, and then it says, it is said in Asanga's Mahayana Compendium. So it's at the top here, Asanga's Mahayana Compendium says, but it reads in the text here. It says, as it says in Asanga's Mahayana Compendium. So that's why Rinpoche was just explaining that Master Asanga wrote this because it occurs at the end in the Tibetan. So when you stop both the afflictive, so afflictive here is referring to all afflictions, the attachment, hatred, ignorance, and so forth. Cognitive obscurations are referring to the imprints of those. According to the Madhyamika Prasangika, the middle way consequence school, it is the obstructions to omniscience, which are the imprints of the afflictions that cause one to not become a Buddha, which are obstacle to Buddhahood. So here it's speaking of removing the afflictive, which are the regular afflictions, and then their imprints, which will allow you to become a Buddha. Rinpoche, dutsar. Karma nga yure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will end there. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. I apologize. The translation was a little bouncy today, just because of the subtlety and the new information, and I just wanted to make sure that I got it clear. So I will now, everyone turns to the last couple pages of the prayer book, concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. And again, thank you everyone for coming, and it depends on everyone coming for this class to occur. So please keep coming so the class can keep occurring, because without students there's no class. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Losandrapa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well. With whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the three times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. All powerful Avalokiteshvara Tenzin Gyatso, may you stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandok, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, spiritual friend who trains extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Tu Jirum Chegutsi Shapi Denrolang.
투투.
Sheda Selbuldu.
야.